We love our children. Okay, but we never enjoyed mother.
I highly, highly encourage you to go back and watch this entire video. But in a nutshell, those two elderly ladies, the woman in her middle, I think she's the daughter to the woman on the right. She's basically asking them, did you enjoy motherhood, or was there ever a moment where we were at home and we were awake that you enjoyed motherhood? And her response is very clear, and it's very like, I never enjoyed motherhood. I never enjoyed being a mother. I disliked being a mother. And this is a topic, the topic of regretting motherhood, that systemically and in society we don't talk about enough. And especially as someone, me, that I chose motherhood very consciously and very intentionally because I genuinely wanted to be a mother. We don't talk about these topics enough because there's this romanticized version of motherhood that is all this fairy, and it's like, it's so magical and it's so joyful and it's so nice and it is so fulfilling. And as much as that might be true to a lot of us, it is absolutely not true for, I would say, the majority of mothers. And I really want to hope and believe that the generation prior to us, so the generation of my mother, is the last one to have to go through this. Because if you followed me for a long time, you know, I don't have a relationship with my mom. I don't have anything positive, or not a lot of positive things to say about her. I genuinely believe at this point in my life, and it took me a lot of years to reflect and understand, that she should have never been a mother. My mother should have never had children, because I genuinely believe that she was never meant to be. She was forced into motherhood by society, by culture, by everything in between, of this ideal that a woman is supposed to have children, right? Especially women of color are supposed to have children. That's what women are there for, right? She was never in a position to have to be able, or to be able to have a career, to fulfill herself, to live life as herself. And I know for a fact that the generation of my mother is, hopefully, I genuinely hope that this is the last generation that has to experience this, or that had to go through this. Because imagine imagine not wanting to be a mother, because you know damn well what society is going to put you through. You know, the moment those children are conceived, your life is quite literally over the way you know it. This is a decision that you either make consciously or you're forced into it, and you will regret that decision for the rest of your life. And I'm telling you this as a child of someone that should have never been a mother, and as a mother that consciously decided to be a mother. Because I know damn well that the moment I had my children, my life as I know it, I had planned for it, is going to be over. And that is what happened. My oldest, my firstborn child, is 16 now. And I can tell you wholeheartedly that motherhood changed my life and took away my personality to a huge chunk. I'm not telling you this out of bitterness. I'm not telling you this because I'm want to warn you. I'm telling you this because it's the honest truth and nothing but the truth. I personally, I'm not affected by regretting motherhood. I genuinely am not. However, there are many women that are, and they don't get the room to speak about that because it's frowned upon. It's like, oh my God, children are these lovey-dovey, joyful little human beings. Yes, but they're also draining the fucking life out of you. Full stop. The society, I am telling you, one of the biggest scams of society is motherhood. I will stand 10 toes down to the day I die that motherhood is one of the biggest scams in our society. It's being romanticized. It is being made this fairy tale, this fulfilling, this life changing that you cannot live without, when in reality it is not. It is draining. It is incredibly hard. It is emotionally, I lack the words, honestly. Because let's be fucking for real. Most of us do not come from loving, caring, understanding, gentle parenting households. Most of us were beaten into silence, were abused into behaving, were abused into obedience, and were literally raised alongside of everything else. We were never made a priority. We were never made anything that deserves to be speaking up for themselves. We never got the chance to have our own opinions, to ask questions, to be heard, to be seen, to be loved, to be cared for unconditionally. We were always attached to conditions. We were always raised because children grow up anyway, right? They raised themselves. A lot of us had to raise ourselves. We were alone with emotions. We were alone with society. We were alone with nightmares, with fears, with anxiety, with puberty, with growing into young women. I was alone through pregnancies, not alone entirely because my children's father, I mean, this man stepped up in every way, shape, or form he could have ever stepped up in, but I never had a female motherly figure that experienced pregnancy, that was right by my side, that was in the theater with me, that was there, that was present. I was alone with everything that made me a woman all my life. That's because society does not tell us the truth about motherhood. That's just the facts. It is. And this goes so far beyond sleepless nights and being emotionally drained and being overstimulated. No. Your career? Fuck no. Out the fucking window. I have a degree. I learned a job that would pay me a very good salary every single month if I was to work in that field. But society gives me the chance. Either you go and work 40 to 60 hours plus, or you raise children. Because two of them do not go together. It can never go together. I mean, there is the option of working part-time, blah, blah, blah. We get that, but it's just not that easy because part-time doesn't pay no fucking bills. Let's be honest, okay? Society expects us to work like we don't have children and to raise children as if we don't work. And two of that is never going to be possible. I was what in Germany we call a key child. I was a child that was on her own. I come and I go by myself. It has always been like this. And there are many of us out there. There are many children. I was alone with assignments, with bullying, with my social life, everything in between. I had no guidance. I had nothing that stuck with me emotionally to look up to. There was no relationship to look up to because my parents got divorced when I was very young. So all these things, they play into that role of now there is a generation of mothers that are like, fuck no. Or not even mothers, a generation of women, of potential mothers that are like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I have a lot of friends that are like, hey, I like the idea of one day having a child, but I don't like what society puts on it. I don't like being alone with it. I don't like having to compromise my career, my character, my hobbies, my time, my finances, my everything for it, just because society puts all this pressure on women and literally not a single piece of pressure on men, on the fathers. So no, women that suffer from regretting motherhood are not necessarily bad mothers. That the two of them are not mutually exclusive. They are not. They just talk about the obvious that y'all don't want to hear because y'all have put us in this situation for hundreds of years that the only thing we are good for is childbearing and making the home. We never got to have careers. Forget all this equality bullshit. Even in 2025, a woman has to decide, do you want a child or do you want career? The two of them in many cases do not in many, fuck that, in all cases do not go together. Because if you want a career, you need a nanny. If you want a nanny, that means you're having a stranger that you do not know about, that can never love your child the way you love your child, take care of the most precious being in your life. Let's even start from the moment that pregnancy literally destroys our bodies. If you don't have the financial and social access to reconstruction surgeries, forget it. I know there's this small minority that bounces back, but most of us do not. From the beginning to the end, motherhood in society is a fucking scam. And that's on that. Let me tell you this from the bottom of my heart. Regretting motherhood and the whole topic around mothers and society and the expectations that we are being put under by society, by the daycare, by everything that has to do with children, it needs to be talked about more because women are suffering. Mothers are suffering. It is not easy. And it is not easy, does not even come remotely close to the reality of, I would say, 98% of mothers in our society. So when you see a mother talk about regretting motherhood, just shut up. Just shut up if you have nothing of essence to contribute to the whole conversation. And no, you don't love your children, it's not essence. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea. If that is your first thought when hearing regretting motherhood, then you have no idea and you have not even fully comprehended what it takes to be a mother. So just leave. You're not helping you're not helping at all.